Oh, well, hello and welcome back to my orchid and plant life. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of looking at this Sharry Baby Red Fantasy sent to me by Nicole, Deanna. The tag is stuck in the pot and I don't know if there's a root on it or not, so I'm gonna wait. So I used to soak, it's in a terracotta pot, and my house plants that were root bound in a terracotta pot, I used to soak it overnight to make sure there's a lot of moisture on the pot itself to help not eliminate, but I guess minimize the damage. So I'm trying that with this. I soaked it overnight and it's been in CalMag and seaweed. And let's take her out. And then I have a knife I know a lot of people use a sharp knife. I usually use a plastic knife, but I couldn't find one, so I'm gonna just use a butter knife and go around the edges and see if we can't get it out with minimal damage. The good news is the new growths, this one and this one, are not too close to the edge, so hopefully not too many of the newer roots are going to get damaged, but I'm just going to kind of go around, see if we can't loosen it. That's the idea. So, if you've ever had to repot an orchid from a terracotta pot that wasn't a Cattleya, I know a lot of us put our Cattleyas in terracotta pots. Oh, I hear roots breaking. Oh, that sounds horrible. It's just a horrible, horrible sound. There we go. All right. Be really careful right here because it's where one of the new growths are. And able to push that back. I do see a new root right there, so we're not going to mess with that. Let's see if I can get her out. How are we going to do this? Up. Oh, and yay. Awesome. All right. Look at the roots on this lovely lady. Look at those. Oh my goodness. What are we going to do? Oh, what to do? Let's just start at the top and see what we can do. And just gently massage this out. Looks like she's in moss and perlite. So I'll fast forward through this, guys, because this is going to take some time. I'm going to really, really take my time. So fast forwarding will begin here soon. But I think I'm going to take her outside and spray her with the garden hose and see if we can't get some of this moss out of here. I would do it at the sink, but I don't think that the pressure is going to be enough. I think I'm going to need to use the nozzle on like hard to get her out of here. She has eaten all the moss in here, and as you can see, she was also growing out of the pot, so the roots are all entangled. I thought maybe if I kept gently massaging from the outside that I could loosen up at least one side of the roots. And you can see I like made a hole here and there's a little hole here, but I don't want to damage this beautiful root system any more than I have to. So let's go outside and let's spray her with Le Garten hose. All right, I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna go get the clippers. I'm gonna have to sacrifice some of these roots at the bottom. It's just not wanting to come out. Be right back. All right, oh, this hurts my heart, but I'm gonna have to do this to get this out. Just cut right off the bottom here. Ah, there we go. All right, now let's spray it out. Let's get some of this out of here. And I'm sure a lot of the roots in the middle are gone, but let me just get as much of this loosed out of here as I can. And then, sorry for the cars in the background, but I am in my front yard and I live on a rather busy street. So that is just one of the pitfalls of recording outside in my front yard. So let's see if we can get it to go through now. Ah, there it goes. You know what? I was going to take off these 2 seedling bulbs here just to make room in the pot. So let me take those off and see if that doesn't open up a space for us. Those roots are just, oh, this just breaks my heart. But sometimes you got to do what you don't want to do to get it going. There we go. At least we've got us a hole now. And all right, I will turn the water off and we will go back inside and let's take a look and see what we have left. So we're back inside. I've already sprayed her with hydrogen peroxide just to kind of seal off the cuts that I made when I had to cut the bottom to open her up. But we're still left with, look at all of those roots. I did trim back just a few of them that were a little mushy, but on the whole, oh my goodness, this is such an amazing root system. And I did use the tweezers to get out the moss in between here to keep from breaking the roots that are there, because that's a lot of the new growth from off of this latest growth, and then same thing on this side from this growth. I didn't want to damage too much. But I have a couple of pot options here, and I put cinnamon on the rhizome here. So I have a couple of pot options. I was thinking of putting it in this pot and then setting it back inside of a terracotta pot, but I feel like this is going to eat this pot because it's already practically filling it up. And then I said, well, let's do this one. And let's see. Set her back here. That will give her lots of room for growth, but again, the pot, you can see, is fairly filled up with those roots already. Let's just look at that one. And then I have this one. This is a 7 or 7.5 inch pot of the smaller 4.5 inch that I like to use. I ordered the wrong size, but I'm keeping them. I think she might do better in this one now that I'm looking at it, because she has plenty of room for growth, as well as the roots have plenty of room to grow, and I'll be able to get in and make sure that there's media in the center of this as well. So let's look at this one more time, because I can put the media here. and then get her in the pot. I just feel like that the roots are going to crowd the pot before she takes over the pot. But then again, if this is like my Sharry baby, she's going to take over the pot with roots anyway. Oh, decisions, decisions. You know what? We're going to go with this pot here. I like this pot, but I'm just going to go with this other one. Move that there. All right. So, let's see. You know what? I'll be right back. I'm going to put some rocks in the bottom here. Okay. The rocks I'm putting at the bottom are kind of weighed a little bit. Obviously, it's not going to weigh it too much, but it'll weigh it a little bit. So let's just put some media right here, and then where do I want to put her before I stuff her with media? Probably about right there. Okay. Move that off to the side and open her, spread her out as much as I can because these roots are still really, really compacted. But and I like to do this for small rooted orchids that have a good root system already, is I'll put a bunch of the media in the center of it so that I know that there is media in the center and there aren't air pockets. Let's see, there, and then I'm gonna grab some for this side so that when I set her in, ideally, hopefully this pot may not work in the end of the day, but I'm gonna try it anyway. There we go. All right, and then I can get her kind of down in there. Perfect. There we go. And what I'm putting her in is a lot of moss, small fir bark, charcoal, and a perlite, which I have found oncidium types like in my environment. So this will work out really well for her. I did try the cocoa husk on one of my Sharry babies and didn't really do all that well. I don't know if I wasn't keeping it wet enough, or I'm not sure, but I wasn't happy with it, so I'm not gonna use it right now. I'll probably try it again later, but for now I'm gonna go with what I know as far as this little girl is concerned, because I don't want to mess anything up with her. Like I said, I got her from Nicole Deanna, so she is somewhat special. Like I've stated before, all my orchids are special, but those that I get from others from their own collection are a little more special just because of the trust that they put into me, that I will continue to care for their loved ones. I know I'm making it sound like they're people. So. But all my kids are grown, and yes, they are still my babies, but they're out living their own lives. So these are my babies now. There we go. I'm just making sure there's no air pockets on the outside as well. And I'm kind of pushing out with my finger while I'm pushing down so as not to break any of the roots. So it does look a little aggressive. And I know I probably could put her back a little bit further, but because of this new growth right here, if there's another one, I don't want to have it too far up against the pot. So, and if I need to, I can just always up pot her, because with the moss in here, it'll be a lot easier than just with bark. Okay, well there she is, all in her, nicely potted into her new home. I'll top dress that with some bark, and I may put a stake on either side for about a month or so until she kind of locks herself into this, so she's not wobbling around so much, so when the new roots are growing, they're not breaking as well. And there is the Sharry Baby Red Fantasy and Nicole Nicole Deanna, I don't know why I want to call you Deanne, but Nicole Deanna is very confident that she's still going to bloom for me. So I'm going to take that confidence and run with it, and we are going to see some Red Fantasy blooms here in a few months. All right, guys, thanks again for watching. Go ahead and leave a comment down below if you got any value out of this. Give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, just a heads up, I do post minimum 3 times a week, sometimes every day, but minimum 3 times a week. And most of my videos are about orchids, orchid repots, how I care for orchids, and occasionally I do a house plant, which I am planning to do a house plant video here in the next few days, if not in the next week. So be looking out for that. And again, I appreciate you guys coming by, and we will see you on the next one.